Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Sand Meat Market Jacob Willett Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the Chuckey Doak Black Knights baseball team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Jacob Willett. Coach, how are we doing this evening?
I've been better, but we're living. We're doing that.
I feel like if everybody goes through and watches the first 30 seconds of every interview this week, it's going to be very interesting to see what every coach's opinion is, because there's going to be a lot of cancellations this week. I think every coach is already having a headache halfway through the week because of the weather, and it's not really supposed to get better throughout the week too, but as we've been told, the game against South Green that was originally scheduled for Tuesday and then got pushed to Wednesday has now been pushed to Saturday on the weekend. So as you see this air on Friday night, tomorrow we'll go ahead and just say it. Come out and watch some baseball tomorrow here in Lower Afton, Chuckey Doak, South Green. Very important District 1 2A game. But that one's getting pushed back later into the week. You were able to get the one in on Monday, and you were able to get the non-con game against Crockett in on Friday. So we'll go through those two games. Those are the two that we have to talk about. Take me through those two games that you played the last time we sat down.
They're very similar games. I mean, we played very, very similar both games. Not our best baseball. Defensively, wasn't terrible. Neither game really was terrible defensively. It wasn't our best game defensively, but by no means was it really poor. What was poor has been offensively. We are not hitting the baseball. Simple as that. We had 3 hits against. We weren't facing DeGrom. The kid threw a great game against us. We had 3 hits. He held us in check all night. We couldn't piece them together. It was like one here, one there, one later. So it's tough to score like that. Didn't have a whole. We had 4 walks. We got 4 walks, 3 hits, 7 base runners. But we get 1 across. That's not going to win a lot of games. So they give us some opportunities, and we didn't seize them. So that's how that game went on Monday, and it's very disappointing. It's not the result we wanted. We wanted to go ahead and win that first game. Put ourselves in a good position where we don't really have to stress a whole lot moving forward. Because now, Saturday's going to be stressful for us. Now we got to win it because we've gave them life. We've gave them a real chance now. I think they're tied with us now. I think something close. Saturday's game will really decide who goes into the tournament as the number 1 seed. So I believe that to be true. So that's kind of where we're at. Our guys got to show up to play. Simple as that. And it's not that we don't have the ability to come and win the baseball game. Ability-wise, we got it. But we got to string hits together. It's a baseball game. The name of the game is hitting the ball, getting runs across the plate. We didn't do that. We failed to execute bunts. We failed to execute stealing bases. We got guys missing signs. We're 4 weeks into the year. We still got guys missing signs. Don't know how that happens, to be honest with you, because it's not like we have a complicated process for getting signs. It's pretty self-explanatory. But, we're God knows how many games in now, and we got guys missing signs. It's unacceptable. We've got guys that still can't control emotions, but they can, though. They have chosen not to control their emotions, and it's negatively affected us. You look at the 2 games really where we've had issues with guys losing their cool and losing their head. Very ugly games for us. We had it Monday at South Green. We had it a couple weeks ago against North Green. 2 of the worst games we've played all year. And you can't control your emotions. It snowballs. It trickles. It spreads throughout the dugout. Not any good things come from it. There's nothing good that comes from it. So from that aspect, we need more out of people. We need more out of guys, and they're more than capable of doing it. It's just they got to take it upon themselves to not let the guys beside them down. And if you boot a ball, if you get punched out in the box, okay, I'm going to go back into the dugout and get behind the next guy that's up the bat. Instead of I'm going to go into the dugout, throw my stuff down, and go pout. That's where it's been at. But we got to make those mental strides. We make those mental strides, we're going to be just fine. And I know the guys can do it that we sit down and met with, hopefully corrected some issues. That's where we were at yesterday. Yesterday we took a day to correct some issues that we saw internally, with not necessarily ability-wise, but mentalities. We got to get guys' mentalities fixed. So hopefully we've made those adjustments. I hope we have. for the sake of our conference and us putting ourselves in a pretty good spot to go. I mean, everything's still in front of us. We just got to make a couple corrections, and I've allowed it so far to kind of transpire. At the beginning of the season, we were playing great baseball. We didn't really have these issues. Maybe a little add up until we get to a point where it's bad. And I take responsibility for that because I let it happen. So that's on me. I failed these guys as a coach by letting stuff like that transpire. And I promise you, I will be better. I will be better. I will hold guys accountable. Stuff's not going to slide. We're done. We got to correct issues. So I take it upon myself to challenge the guys to be better and for me to be better as their coach.
How have the practices been since that day, too? I know it's been since Monday, so you really haven't had any practices, but I know you alluded to the North Green game where you had a lot of things to correct, and it seems like you did a lot of those things. Did you have the same conversation with them after the South Green game on Monday, kind of like you had after that North Green game that Thursday?
I didn't have to have that conversation because we had that conversation in the outfield at North Green. They know what's expected after that conversation that we had. South Green rolls around, we kind of do the same thing, and I don't have to have that conversation with them again because now I just got to remind them. You do these things, you get these results. We talk about it at North Green, you do the same thing, you get the same result. So at that point, our team conversation as far as us addressing everybody as a team is not working. So now, I mean, it did work for a brief period, but you know, we get into the postseason, we play well for a couple games, then we have one game like that and we're done possibly. So it can't rear its head, so we got to eliminate that issue. So we're sitting down like yesterday. Not so much skill-wise what we were working on yesterday. I spent a lot of time in meetings with guys, one-on-one. That's how yesterday went. A lot of time one-on-one, talking with guys, running them through the mentals of baseball. Some guys don't have a plan at the plate. So we addressed how we could correct that moving forward as far as having a plan, having an approach during your at-bat. Some guys get a little out of their footwork when we're in a game as far as fielding a ground ball. Like we got one kid, it's a phenomenal infielder in practice. He doesn't make mistakes, but he goes through his motions really fluently. He tries to correct his craft in practice where he gets in a game and just tries to catch the baseball. Whereas we approach it just like it's practice. I got my pre-pitch movement. I'm approaching the ball right to left, good smooth through the baseball, staying low. You make the plays because you've done it in practice. But now when we get in the game and we're just trying to literally just glove the baseball and then make the throw, we get outside of our stuff. We get sloppy with our footwork. So just how we're approaching certain situations with guys. And then we got some guys that are struggling with handling composure. So we had plans in place moving forward now for guys to handle composure. So yesterday was more of a mentals day for us because we know we have the ability. We've shown that we have the ability. We just got to get mentally right in order to go out and execute physically. And I think 99% of our problems come from up here. What's in your head? That's where our problems are coming from because we've, not to discredit the kid from South Green, threw a great game, but we've seen better pitching and put up more runs and got better results. So from that aspect, it's us. It's us not executing. It's not so much what he's doing to us as far as it's us, our lack of execution is where we were struggling. So, and we know we have the ability to execute our situations, get a guy on, move a guy over, get a guy in. That's what we preach. Get on, get over, get him in. And we weren't able to do that. And we know we can do that, so we got to make adjustments mentally to put ourselves in a good spot to go ahead and fix that.
Well, that was a great first half. I enjoy hearing kind of an in-depth way of how a coach deals with adversity with their players too. So I think that was a great way to cap the first half. We'll go into the second half now. Preview that South Green game a little bit more. I know you alluded to it a little bit with the conference standings, but we'll touch on those just a bit here in a second. But we got a good word from our sponsors first. Thank you once again to Sand Meat Market for sponsoring us. We'll run their ad and see a few more, and we'll be right back after this break here on Grassroots Media.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Roberts with Southland Equipment. No matter how big or how small the job might be,
we've got the right equipment to get the job done.
We have one of the area's largest and best inventory of new Massey Ferguson, Premier, Cub Cadet, and Bush Hog tractors and mowers. Our Will Stock Parts department has everything you need. Belts, blades, hoses, and filters. From 1 horse to 120 horses, we'll take care of you in our service department. Hay equipment, we do that too.
whether you have 1 acre or 1,000, come by and see us at Southland Equipment.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Sand Meat Market Jacob Willett Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the Chuckey Doak Black Knights baseball team. As always, I'm joined here with Black Knights head coach Jacob Willett. Sand Meat Market. I know we mentioned last week that you're a big steak guy. Is there a certain steak that you're a fan of the most?
I like ribeye.
Ribeye the most?
Ribeye's my go-to. Yes, sir.
Last show we have, should we have a ribeye dinner presented by Sand Meat Market right here?
Let's do it.
I'd love to have it. You can't go wrong with a steak.
Can't.
No matter if it's a T-bone, ribeye, sirloin, you can't go wrong with any of them. Are there any of them you don't like?
I've never had one I don't like.
I'm the same way.
Never had one. But what's your go-to?
I like sirloin.
Sirloin?
They're good.
Saves you some money, too.
It does.
Yep.
Is there a certain place that you like to go the most to get a steak? Like, is there a steakhouse around here?
Locally, I like the Butcher's Block. The Butcher's
Okay.
Block has good steak. I do like that. Aubrey's is not a bad option.
Not had a steak from there yet.
Really.
I'll try one from
They're
Auburn.
solid. They're good. You got to get the Hawaiian ribeye down there.
Hawaiian ribeye? That's a catchy name. Mm-hmm. But not to take anything away from Sand Meat Market, if you do need any meats for any upcoming barbecues or anything, check out Sand Meat Market. They've got great deals they'll deliver to you if you order by 10 a.m. with a purchase of $100 or more. But we'll go into baseball now. You've got a non-con game coming up. Before we go into those conference games, you've got GP here at home tomorrow afternoon. Tentatively at the moment, I know by the time this releases on Friday, then you'll have known if you played or if it's rescheduled or canceled. But with a team in GP, what do you expect to see out of the Highlanders when they come down here?
I expect them to be scrappy. Hopefully we can get it in. The weather's been chaotic this week, as we touched on earlier today. We've had to move a lot of games around. We want to get it in. The field is honestly in not great condition right now. I was up there just before we started filming. We got a lot of water standing on the field, and tomorrow's supposed to bring some more rain. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get it in. It looks iffy right now. But Gatlinburg-Pittman will probably be a scrappy baseball team. But we've got to find a way, regardless of who's in the other dugout, to come out and play our best baseball. Hit the ball, make the plays, throw strikes. We do that. We're always competing, like we did against Unicoi County. Is a really good baseball team. We played them earlier in the year. Let's see, Cott County, really good baseball team. We've played, Crockett. We played well for a bit. We've played some really good baseball teams, really tightly. But we played good baseball in those games. Like Unicoi, we were a couple hits away from winning that game, and that's probably a 2A state tournament baseball team. And that shows us we have the potential to do great things with this group of guys we got. And I love the group of guys we got. We've got guys that stepped up who we didn't know what we'd get out of, and they've produced for us. We've got guys that put themselves in the leadership roles that we didn't expect. We've had guys produce offensively that we didn't know that we were going to get, and it's a great thing to have. But also, we've had some issues we have to address. So we're walking the fine line. How do we eliminate the issues and get the most out of you? And that's probably the most challenging thing as a coach to do, is to get the guys to buy into what you're trying to do with the program. Get them to commit to the process. If you see our Twitter or Instagram post, hashtag on all of them, commit. Commit is the process that we want these guys to buy into. If you look at the definition of commit, it's what we want our guys to do for us. We'll pull up the definition real quick. I don't have it on me right off the top, but let's look at the definition. So, to carry out or perpetrate or pledge or bind to a certain course or policy. So we want our guys to pledge to the way we do things, commit to the way we do things. We do stuff differently that probably no other school in this county does things. We probably ask for more out of guys than anywhere else. We ask them to do certain things that nobody else is going to ask them to do. Something as far as having your clothes folded in your locker so our locker room's presentable. Stuff like that. it probably gets glossed over. But it's the culture that we want to establish. It's, okay, we see a piece of trash laying on our field. We walk by and pick it up. A lot of guys will walk by and don't even bother. They see a piece of trash, they keep walking. Oh, well, somebody else will get it. We want our guys to take the initiative to pick up the trash and throw it away, because we think we train guys to do things the right way, we'll reap the benefits of that. So right now, it doesn't matter who we play. It matters about how we buy into what we're trying to do within our game plan, within our culture, within our locker room. We want guys to get along with each other, and they do. We've got guys, they love each other, and that's huge to have. We've got a very tight-knit group of guys that'll go to bat for one another. So that's what we're trying to stress. If you don't make an adjustment for yourself, do it for your brother. Do it for the guy next to you who would do the same thing for you. And if we can get to that point, we're going to get more out of guys than they think is physically possible. And we just have to get them to commit to that philosophy.
And then moving in, well, before we move into the conference games you got coming up, I tend to forget too that GP is a region game. It's a non-con game, but it's a region game, and it'll kind of be the measuring stick in a way, because I don't think up to this point you've played any teams in that opposite district within your region so far. So playing GP with the outcome, do you think it'll kind of be a measuring stick to see how you do compared to how they do against some of those other teams?
Yes. It is a measuring game. We have GP tomorrow scheduled. Then we got, I think, Pigeon Forge next week. So we got back-to-back kind of regional matchups to see where we stand. We know Pigeon Forge is always at the top of the other conference. They're always at the top. Gatlinburg-Pittman plays with all those teams closely. They give them all a fight. So they're a good baseball team. We expect it to be a challenging game. We expect it to be a game where we kind of see how we line up when it comes regional time. God willing, we make it there. That we can go compete with these guys, like a Pigeon Forge, like a Alcoa or a Gatlinburg-Pittman, whoever we see.
And between those games, I know you got GP on Thursday, and I think you might have Pigeon Forge on next Thursday also. But sandwiched between those, you've got 3 key conference games. We talked about the South Green game coming up on Saturday. We'll talk about that just a little bit more. And then you've got Johnson County on Monday and Tuesday. You begin up there in Mountain City on Monday, and then they come down here to play you on Tuesday. So you've got those 3. Let's talk about the conference standings a little bit up to this point. At the moment, I believe you hold a half a game lead, having that 1 extra win at 6-1. South Green is 5-1, half a game behind, nipping on your heels. With that game today, it's crucial because you basically, whoever wins essentially puts themselves in the driver's seat to control their own destiny towards a regular season championship. Because if you were to win this game and then take care of business Monday and Tuesday, you're an outright regular season champ. If you split, then you would have to have some help on the other end to try to get that 1 loss back. So talk about what your expectations are going into these 3 games and how beneficial it would be to come out with a win in all 3.
From the first day I stepped in our locker room and addressed guys, our goal was to be conference champions. That was the goal that we set for regular season and postseason. That was our goal day 1. And our work to this point has put us in a position to control our destiny. We're in a spot right now. Next week, we find out the results that we got for the regular season. Next Wednesday, we'll know where we are. Or next Tuesday, we'll know where we sit. Our guys have to make a decision right now. What does it mean to you, really? Seniors, it's your last year. It's your last year. What are you going to give us? You know, we give you things. What are you going to give it to yourself, to your teammate, to our culture, to our alumni, to anybody that's ever been a part of our program that can be proud to call us conference champions? That's what we want. These guys got to make a decision that it's bigger than themselves. It's about their teammates. It's about their community. It's about Afton. It's about all the alumni that's come through the school that want to root for our program, support our program, get behind us. It's about the next guys coming up. We set the tradition of winners now, and we've done that in the past. We've done that. We got away from it last year, but we'll get back to that. But this group has to be the group that breaks through year 1 of my tenure and set the tone for the years to come. They have to be the group that says this is our expectations of this program. We go out, we win conference championships year in, year out. Whether that happens or not is up to those guys to make the decision that nothing else matters but being conference champions. Nothing else matters. My at-bat If I strike out, doesn't matter. How can we win this baseball game? If I boot a ball on the field, doesn't matter. What can I do next to help us win a baseball game? They have to make that adjustment on their own. We have a great opportunity to achieve our goals. We have a great opportunity. I'm proud of our guys for the work they've done to put us in this position. I'm very proud of them. But we need a little more right now. The next week, we need everything they got and then some. We're going to need 110% of whatever they can give us, mentally and physically. And we will be conference champions if we get that. If we don't get that, it's going to be a struggle. Like we saw Monday, it's going to be a struggle. We didn't get 110%. We got about the 50% physically, then we didn't have the other 50% mentally. We had about 70%. We got to be at 100%. So in order for us to go ahead and achieve our goals, we need guys to lock in, and we need to go get the job done.
And when you lock in on Saturday with South Green, win or lose, I think the worst you could finish in the conference would be a tie. I think you would get sole second place because you would have the split over West Green. So the work up to this point in the season has set you up nicely for the conference tournament. Obviously, you would like to have that number one seed, but to get that number one seed, you would have to get that win over West Green and the team that won the conference tournament last year in Johnson County that you'll play on Monday and Tuesday. I know they haven't quite had the regular season that they've probably hoped to have, but playing them in such a crucial series on Monday and Tuesday where they also know what's at stake with you guys, you know they're going to come in here and they're going to be ready to play. One of the things I like to say the most dangerous teams to play are the ones that have nothing to lose, and that's kind of how Johnson City will be, or Johnson County will be coming in here. So talk about what your expectations are and what you expect to see out of the Longhorns on Monday and Tuesday.
I expect them to be scrappy. It's great that we've put ourselves in position to, regardless of what happens, to be the second seed. But we don't play for second place. Nobody in our program will be satisfied with second place. We expect to go win 3 straight. We need to go win 3 straight. We have the ability to go win 3 straight. We've got the offense, we've got the defense, we've got the pitching to go win 3 straight. Whether or not we do that remains to be told. But Johnson County, I expect to be a scrappy team. They usually come alive late, and it's getting late, so they're going to start coming alive. We saw that last year. But our guys just got to go out and get the dang job done, man. That's point blank. We got to go out and handle business. And I've said it and said it and said it, we have the ability to do so. We got to do it. We just got to do it. And we got to have the energy, the effort, and the intensity to get the job done.
I don't think that pretty much does it. That puts a cap on the interview unless there's anything you've got to leave off on. I think you've pretty much touched on every topic, but got GP on Thursday, hopefully, and then the games with South Green on Saturday, or the game with South Green Saturday, and then the Johnson County games on Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully the next time we sit down, we can talk about a few wins and see how you sit, because I think the next time we do sit down, we'll know where you will be going into the conference tournament,
We will.
Whether it'll be first or second. But appreciate you once again for sitting down with me.
Yes, sir. Thank
Always
you
a pleasure.
to Sam's Meat Market for sponsoring the show. We appreciate their
Absolutely.
generosity.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Sam Meat Market Jacob Willett Show. Once again, we'll see you next week here on Grassroots Media.
Thank you.